This video, it's a live one, and we are going to talk about data handling in SwiftUI 4. Now, before I dive into it, let me remind you that we are on a Black Friday week. So go ahead and check out store.rebeloper.com. And there are some coupon codes. Go ahead and check them out in the doodle-doo down in the description, where you can have 50% off of all of my Rebeloper products. So if you want to purchase all of them, then you can do so at 50% off. Or there's also a 30% off link. If you just go ahead and check that out, then you will be able to purchase any of my products individually at 30% off, and there are quite a lot. And if you've been waiting for this, then this is the time to act. This sale will be closed in a few days, well, at the end of this week. So go ahead and check it out. It's at store.rebeloper.com. So today we are going to talk about SwiftUI data handling. And what I did is just I just opened up a brand new Xcode project that is with SwiftUI. Hello, everybody. What I'd like to do today is introduce to you the core of SwiftUI, and that is data handling. Because okay, we've seen all of the Apple's marketing material about SwiftUI, and it's like really just adding up a few VStacks and images. So it's just conveying that it's all about UI, and actually it's not. So under the hood, so if you really take a look at it, SwiftUI is basically data UI. Now, what I mean by that is that everything is driven by the data. So all the UI that you want to present, you want to change, and you want SwiftUI to handle is, in fact, managed by the underlying data. And today we are going to learn how you should approach data handling in SwiftUI. And this is kind of the list what I want to talk about today and tomorrow. So there will be two of these sessions. And today we are going to start off with state binding, state object. And at the end of these two sessions, we are also going to cover MVVM, MVS, MV. And what are those? Wait, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss that next event tomorrow. So yeah, let's just start off with a state. So as you already know, everything is a view in SwiftUI, and it's kind of really super fast because we have this struct right over here. It's not like inheritance that we have in UIKit. It's just a simple struct. You have to adhere to the view protocol that you have a body, and then all of this is kind of like a recipe. It's super lightweight. You just say this will be a VStack, and then this should be an image inside that VStack and the text, and let SwiftUI handle the rest. So you shouldn't worry about hard coding your layout. You just lay out a recipe for your layout, pun intended. So how can we say that this is driven by data? Because we just have a VStack, an image, and a text. Well, here, for example, inside the text, let me just copy this out and put it into another property. So var, maybe text equals, and there we go. We have our hello world, and then we just use that inside our text view. And of course, nothing will change. It will be the same thing. But you see, this text data is presented on the text view. This is the easiest way to understand that. Okay, we're just starting off with data in SwiftUI. We have this hello world, and of course, if we just change it, after a few seconds, as you can see, the canvas just updated to hello world without the exclamation mark. So let's just put that back. And yeah, this is how data is kind of presenting the UI, but there's even more to that. Let's say this is just static data. You know, the variable is just one, data is just hello world. But what about if we want to change some data? Okay, that can also be done. And that comes with a state. So state, and I'm setting this to private. because I don't want this to be accessible when we are actually initializing our content view. So also Apple suggests all of their state variables should be indeed set up as private state variables. Let me take a sip of water and then we are going to continue. Okay, so we just created our very first state variable and we added it to our text. But what is actually a state variable? Well, think of the state variable as a bucket, and into that bucket you will drop data over time. Now I repeat that. On this bucket you are going to drop data over time. And the most important words here are over time, because this state variable can listen to your changes, so to your data changes over time. This is really mind-blowing. If you're coming from UI kit, this will be really, really powerful. So let's just try to do that. What I'm going to do is just remove this image, and instead of that image, well, let's just have that text over there, and let's have a text field. There we go. Title and key. Well, let's just have this as a name, as the placeholder, and let's just bind this text to our text state variable. We're going to talk about bindings also. Don't worry about that if you don't really understand what I'm talking about. And let's have a text field style of a rounded border. So yeah, we can actually see that. And let's remove the hello world. Let's make that as an empty string. So there we have it. Now we have this setup. As you can see, currently we have just a simple text, which is an empty string, so we can't see it. And then we have our text field. So for now, I'm just going to hide the canvas and build and run on the simulator, because actually I want to have some input. I want to type in some text in that text field, so we change some data. So there we go. Let me just move this right over here, and let's refactor our code. But let's move this. Okay, so now if I just type in, let's say Ada, you see the actual text also is being updated. Now, how is that possible? What's the magic here? Well, it turns out that this state variable, the text, again, it's a bucket that's holding data over time. It's updating to the latest version, to the latest data droplet, our text view. This is the text view. And also, of course, our text field. So, you know, it's just, we can see that Ada is typed in. But more importantly, we are changing this state variable with the text field. Now, please note that the state variable is the single source of truth for us over here. We have this only one bucket and only one bucket that is tied to our text and also to our text field. Therefore, when we are binding this text to our text field, whenever we change it with the, let's say, typing in some text, then the truth, the source of truth will be changed. Therefore, our text will also be changed. Okay, so yeah, Naman, thank you for your thumbs up. Great. And what I want to show you, if you haven't already noticed, as we are inside Black Friday week, and go ahead and check out store.rebeloper.com, where you can have 50% off all of my Rebeloper products, so 14 products. Just use the Black Friday 50 coupon code, or click the link in the description for that, or you can just have 30% off any of my products. As you can see, there are quite a lot, like 14. And you can get 30% off. Either you just use Black Friday 30 or the coupon code, or just click the link in the description that will just take you to any of these products that are discounted. Again, it's a store.rebeloper.com. The links are in the description. So coming back to our state variable. Now, what if I want to, let's say, well, actually, let me just do another example right over here with the button, because this text is okay, but let's have a button like tap me. Okay, now we have an action, and on that action, we are going to set Ada for our text. So let's see that. Let's see what are we going to get right over here. So yeah, tap me. So let's build and run again. Tap me. If I click right over here, you see, first of all, the text has been changed into Ada, and also the text field is being populated. So I didn't have to type out anything. And again, that is because the source of truth has been updated. And this is how actually the data drives our SwiftUI views. You really have to grasp this. It's really, really important to know that you want to have one single source of truth. It should be a state variable, and then that state variable will update the view accordingly to the data changes. Okay, that is state. But what about this binding? You know, we just binded this text field. It seems kind of magical that the text field is just doing just that. Let me just show you how you can create your own bindings. So what I'm going to do, I really like this text field, but it's 2 lines of code. I only want 1 line of code. So let's refactor this. What I'm going to do is just copy it out. Let's create a new file. And that would be a SwiftUI view. And let's create my text field. Okay, that's my text field. Let's create that and let's just paste it in there. Okay, so let's see if we are going to get some errors, and indeed we are. So let's just try to fix it, and I'm going to fix it the wrong way so you know what to avoid. So cannot find $sign text. So what I'm going to do is just let's just move the state variable right into the text field so we can shut up Xcode's yelling error alert. Everything seems to be working fine. So now I can just use my text field right over here. Okay, let's hit Command R and let's see what we got. Okay, we have tap me. Okay, it's updating the text, but it's actually not updating the text field. What gives? And if I just start here typing in Alex, the text is not updated. Well, that is because you have now 2 sources of truth. And I want to highlight here, you don't have to have one encompassing singleton. You want to have sources of truths for your data structure. So for example, in this view, the text, my text field, and the button should have one single source of truth. And that should be this one, the state variable on the content view, and not the state variable / source of truth on the my text field. So how can we move access to this text state variable into the my text field? Well, here comes the bidirectional data flow, and that is at binding. So let's just change this state variable to at binding. And because this is just kind of a road between the source of truth and our views, in this case our text field, this is just going to provide only the type of our binding. In our case, it's just the string. And let me just remove the preview so I don't get bothered by that. So now we have our 2-directional data flow with the binding from the content view to the my text field. And of course, it's just going to also go into the text field that SwiftUI provides. So finally, we want to add that. So now if I just had my text field, we need to initialize this with a binding of type string, which we already have. So let's just add that text right over there with the $sign. That's how we bind. Okay, so let's build and run again. So we can see that we have tap me. Oh, now it's updating also the text field, which is really nice. Let's have Alex, and as you can see, also the text inside the content view is updating. Again, that is because we have only one source of truth for this. And if you understand this, now you can just use it as a single source of truth, and then you can just bind it to all of your, let's just go subviews, child views, or whatever you like to call them. Okay, and that is state and binding. That's nice, but what if I want to have, this is just a string value. What if I want to have a model? And let's just create a profile right over here. Let's create a new file, a Swift file, profile. And this will be a simple struct. So let's just have SwiftUI right over here, and let's create a struct. Well, currently you don't really need to have SwiftUI, but if you are going to use identifiable, which we are going to use most probably next time, then you do need SwiftUI. So I'm just importing SwiftUI right over here. So let's just have our profile. And then let's just have a name of type string. Okay, really simple struct for our models. And now instead of text, I want to have a profile. So let's just have our profile right over here, and that is equals to profile. And as you can see, it requires us to have a name, but if this has multiple properties, this will get ugly really soon. So what I would do is just create a default initializer for this. You can see Xcode is really trying to help out. So this is a good starter. So what I'm going to do is make this optional, set it to nil. And if this will be nil, I'm just going to give it a default value of an empty string. So now that we have that initializer, we can just go profile, and now you see it's optional. So I can just go and have it as a name of empty string, which is great because this is just the default value, the starter value of our profile. So now what I'm going to do is just inside the text, I will just go profile.name. I'm just going to bind that profile.name, and also I'm going to set profile.name to Ada. Okay, let's build and run again so we can see that actually it's working. Let's just tap here and Alex. Okay, so it's just simply working as it should be. Okay, so yeah, this is for, again, it's with state variable and profiles. But what if I wanted to move this out of my view? I know it's kind of just one state variable, but it could get ugly real soon. So for that, SwiftUI team suggests a view model. So let's create that. Let's create a view model. Let's create our new file. And I will name this, it will be a Swift file. Name this content view model. Okay, content view model. Let's create that. Let's import SwiftUI. Let's create this as a class. Well, hello, somebody just subscribed. Thank you. And that will be a content view model. There we go. Programming just subscribed. Really nice. Thank you very much. So content view model, that is an observable object. And this is observable object. That is what we are going to learn right now. This class has the property wrapper at published. So this is what we want to have. Var profile equals, again, I'm going to create a simple profile. Now, this is the equivalent of the state variable inside a view. We are in an observable object that is published variable. Inside a view, we need to have a state. So it will just work the same. Now let's hook all of this up, because now we have our content view model. Okay, that's fine. But how do we access it inside our content view? Well, you can just do that with a private state object. I do have my quicks right over here, my code snippets, but it's at state object private var, and let's have this as a view model. And and that will be our content view model. Okay, so now that we initialize this, let's use it. So we have our view model, and just add it just like that. View model.profile.name. We're just going to use that. Let's see how it looks currently. Of course, it should be, I'm tapping there. Okay, that's Ada, Alex. Okay, it's working as expected. Now, the source of truth is right over here under the published variable. So why would you want to do this? Well, it's all about separation of concerns. You want to have your business logic outside of your views. So it seems, and we can do that inside our view models. So let's have a function right over here of fetch profile, for example, because currently we just have an empty profile. So what we would do, of course, we are going to fetch it, whatever, and then we just go and have our profile. Let's just have profile.name and Alex. Okay, so this is our fetch profile function. So how would we use that? On the content view, let's just go on appear, And let's just wait for a few seconds so we kind of know that, okay, we are just fetching that from the server. Main async after, we are going to have a deadline of now. And let's just add it here plus, let's just have 2 seconds so we have really, like we really know. So we just go self.viewModel.fetch profile. And let's just build and run, and hands off, I'm not doing anything, I'm not tapping on the button, and after 2 seconds Alex has been added. It's really nice. So yeah, now you have view model, fetch profile. Also on the view model you have access to the profile. Okay, this is nice, this is really handy. We have our content view model, but there you should follow a few rules on this. First of all, you should definitely not have access for the content view model outside of your content view, which should use your view model. So let's see if we can access it. So right over here, let's have a private state object of view model, and let's see, do I have access right over here? So I just start typing in content view model, it just popped up, so I can just use it. Well, let's just try to fix this. Why is this, by the way, a bad idea? Well, because now on the view model, now inside our text field, my text field, I can have access to the profile. I can also have access to the fetch profile, which is not nice. You should just have all of this encompassed at its place, only in the content view. So how can we fix this? Well, we could just have this content view model inside an extension of our content view, which is really clever, because now, let me just move that into there. Now, if we just go back into the text field, we are going to have an error, because the content view model is now only available inside our content view. And of course, as you can see, we don't have any issues inside the content view because it's an extension, which is really nice. But if you are really being really naughty, then also you can just access our content view model by just going content view, because you can access that, you should access that, and dot content view model. Again, we can access our content view model, which is really bad, as I already told you. So let's fix that also. Inside the content view model, let's just move this. So I'm just copying that out and moving it into the content view. Let's just put it right over here, and let's make it file private. What this means is that this extension will be available only inside this file, and it will be private. So now finally we cannot access this outside of our content view model, outside of the content view file. So if I just go and type in content view, that should be of course accessed, but no content view model right over here. So finally we have our view model set up as it should be, and therefore let's just refactor this code. Let's simplify this, because this will be only for the content view model, for the content view. Then we can just remove this view model. That's why I just named this only view model and not content view model. So I can just use it, view model equals view model, which is really great. And yeah, that is MVVM in a nutshell. Now you already know how to use MVVM. Also, we covered observable object and the published variable. Now, next time we are going to cover MVS, MV, the the app storage, if we are going to have time, most probably will, and then the environment object. It's going to be related with MVS, and we are going to talk why MVVM is not particularly the best architecture for SwiftUI application. Even though Apple is highly pushing it, I believe MVS is much better, and MV a little bit much more better than MVS. So we should aim for MV. Now, what are those? Well, you have to subscribe to the channel and find out tomorrow when we are going to talk all about that. Till you do that, till we wait, don't forget to check out the Black Friday sale. It's at store.rebeloper.com. The links are in the description, so you can take a look at them. 50% off all of my products or 30% off individual products. Go ahead and check them out.